Hello, my dear children. Children, in the class today, we are going to study two types of forces. Well, what are forces? We already know. Force is a push or pull. So, the two type of forces on the basis of their origin are external force and internal force. Well, a force is said to be external when origin of the force lies outside the boundary of the system. If origin of the force, the place from where, the point from where the force is originating, if that point of origin lies outside the boundary of the system, then we call the force as external. Otherwise it is internal. So what is this otherwise? When origin of the force lies within the boundary of the system, the force is called as internal. Let us understand external and internal forces with the help of a very popular example. Well, suppose this is a lake. This is a lake and this lake is a system. Well, there are boats in the lake, there are children playing in the lake, there are people swimming in the lake. Yeah. So what is happening? The lake is full of activity. Now see, these are two boats. A person is here on the boat, a person is here on the boat. If this person applies certain force over this boat, if this person applies certain force over this boat, what will happen? This force has its reaction force and it would be acting over this boat. So the force applied by person over this boat, which is in the neighborhood, is internal force. Why? Because the origin of the force lies within the boundary of the system. If the people are there in the lake, they are playing, they are pushing each other. So the forces which are there in between the people who push each other within the lake, they all are internal forces. Well, suppose we have a tree outside the lake like this. This is a tree outside the lake. If we tie a rope here, and that rope is connected with the person here. If the person here is in the boat and if the person pulls this rope, if this person pulls this rope which is connected with this boat, which is attached with this tree outside the boundary of the system, then what happens? The tension in the rope is external force acting over the boat. Why the force acting over the boat? With the help of this string. If the person in the boat is, the person in the boat pulls this string, this rope, in that case what will happen? The boat will move towards the shore. It will start moving. The force through this string which is acting over this person, that is tension in the string, is an example of external force. Why is this force external? Because its origin lies outside the boundary of the system. How big is the boundary of the system? That depends upon our problem. So we can reduce the size of the boundary, we can enhance the size of the boundary. It all depends upon the problem in the system. So what are internal and external forces? You can understand the forces which are applied by the person within the lake. They all are internal forces. The force acting over this boat from this external source through this string is external force. Well, these internal forces have many more examples. Like in all type of collisions, the forces which are there are internal forces. In all type of explosions, the forces which are generated are internal forces. In radioactivity decay, the forces which are generated are what? Internal forces. There are so many examples of internal forces. Children, let us know the properties of internal forces. There are 3 immediate properties and there are 4 associated properties. So what are these 3 immediate properties? These 3 immediate properties of internal forces are same as the properties of action-reaction forces. And these 3 properties are what? Internal forces are always in pair. Both the members of the pair are always equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. And both the pairs, both the members of the pair, they act over different bodies. So these are 3 immediate properties, and these 3 immediate properties of internal forces are same as those of action-reaction forces, which we have already studied. The other associated properties are, well, sum total of internal forces for whole system is always 0. Why it is always 0? It is simply because of the fact that all forces, all internal forces are in pair, both the members are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So if we find out the algebraic sum of 2 equal and opposite forces, it will come out to be 0. So sum of all internal forces for the whole system is always 0. This is always 0. Well, due to internal forces, there is no effect over linear momentum of the system. Due to internal forces, there is no effect over linear momentum of the system. Well, if there are, like the example of lake we have just studied, if there are 2 persons in the lake, if there are 2 persons in the lake, they push each other, they are pushing each other. These are 2 persons in the lake and they are pushing each other with certain force. If this person pushes this person with force F, then the same force F also acts over this person in the backward direction. So what happens? If this person moves backward in this direction with certain momentum, if this person moves because of this force acts over, this force is applied by person A over person B. Well, then what happens? Automatically force F is generated over this person. Both the forces are action-reaction forces. They are internal forces. They are in pair. Both have equal magnitude, opposite direction. The algebraic sum is 0 for the whole system. But what is happening? If this person moves in the backward direction with certain momentum P1 and this person moves backward with certain momentum P2. So sum of these 2 momentas would be same as the initial momentum of the 2 persons. Suppose both the persons were at rest. So the initial momentum is what? 0. So both the persons are going to move in the opposite direction with the momentum P1 is equal to what? Minus P2. If both persons were at rest initially and if they push each other, by virtue of pushing each other, they move in the opposite direction. So with whatever value of momentum this person is going to move, with the same value of momentum this person is going to move, and algebraic sum of the momentum will come out to be 0, which was the initial momentum. So just remember, because of internal forces, there is no effect over the linear momentum of the system. Well, the other property is state of center of mass of the system remains unchanged. So there is no effect over state of center of mass of the system. If center of mass of the system is moving with certain velocity, it will continue to move with the same velocity. If it is at rest, it will remain at rest. Suppose there is an explosive, there is a bomb. There is a bomb which is projected with certain velocity at certain angle from horizontal. And while moving on its trajectory, say the bomb explodes anywhere. Suppose the bomb explodes here. The bomb explodes, and because of explosion, what happens? The various fragments of the bomb. This is explosion. The bomb starts moving over this parabolic trajectory, and say at certain point over its trajectory, it explodes. And during explosion, you have already understood there are only internal forces. So what will happen? The broken fragments would be moving away from each other and they will fly away in different directions. But the center of mass of the system, which was supposed to move on this parabolic path, will keep moving along parabolic path. If it is supposed to fall here, it will still fall here. There might not be any particle reaching at this particular place, but the center of mass of this bomb would still land here, and the broken pieces will fall apart, and they would be falling apart in different directions to different places, such that if we find out the center of mass of all those broken fragments, it will come out to be same as this. So there is no effect over center of mass of the system. It remains unaffected. The position of center of mass of the system remains unaffected. That is also obvious. So whatever may be the internal forces acting over the system, the state of center of mass of the system remains unchanged. The position of center of mass of the system remains unaffected. Children, internal forces are of two types. There is no subtype for external forces, but internal forces are either conservative internal force or non-conservative internal force. So what is conservative force and non-conservative force? Children, these forces are defined on the basis of work done by them. So conservative forces and non-conservative forces, which are two types of internal forces, are defined on the basis of work done by them. So what is conservative force? Force is said to be conservative when work done by force around a trip is zero. When work done by force around a trip is zero, then force is said to be conservative. Like this is point, say 1. If the object moves from 1 and come back to 1, due to what? Due to force. Due to force, the object is moving from 1 and coming back to 1. So what is work done? If work done in the process comes out to be 0, due to force, the object is moving from 1 and coming back to 1. This is a trip. And if work done by the force is 0, if work done by force is 0, that simply means the force is what? Conservative. Whereas in non-conservative force, work done around a trip is not 0. If the object is starting from here and due to conservative force it moves like this, due to force it moves like this and come back to the same point, or it moves like this, it follows this path and comes back to the same point. This is all trip. This is a trip, this is also a trip, and this trip is made by virtue of non-conservative force. Well, the work done in the process is going to be non-zero. So if work done around a trip by force is 0, then force is conservative. If work done around a trip by a force is not 0, in that case we call the force as non-conservative force. Well, due to conservative force, work done is point function. Work done is point function. What does this mean? This simply means work done depends upon only initial and final points. It does not depend upon path followed. Suppose this is point 1, an object is moving from point 1 to point 2. It is following this path and then it moves along this path and then it moves along this path. If work done in moving from 1 to 2 along this path is W1, and work done in moving from 1 to 2 along this path is W2, and along this path the work done is what? W3. So work done due to conservative force is point function. It is not a path function. That simply means work done depends upon initial and final points, and initial and final points are same. Therefore, all these three works are going to be what? Equal to each other. Why? Because work done is point function. If it is point function, it is not going to be path function. It is independent of the path followed. Whether we follow this path to reach from here to here, or we follow this path to reach from here to here, or this path. So whatever may be the path followed to move from one given point to another given point, If initial and final points are same, then work done is going to be same. It is independent of path. On the other hand, work done due to non-conservative force is path function. It depends upon path followed. If you move from 1 to 2 due to non-conservative force along 3 different paths, therefore work done along this path W1, work done along this path W2, and work done along this path W3. All these 3 paths are going to be, all these 3 paths are different. Therefore work done along all these 3 paths would be different. So work done here due to non-conservative force is dependent upon path. It does not depend upon initial and final points. Here work done depends upon initial and final points. It does not depend upon path. Children, let us know the example of conservative and non-conservative forces. Well, conservative forces, the examples are gravitational force. Force of gravity is an example of conservative force. Coulombian force, that is force between charges, attractive force or repulsive force, is conservative force. Force between magnetic force, like poles of the magnet repel and like poles attract. So that force is also conservative. Force in the spring, that is also conservative force, and so on. And you are already familiar with gravitational force. Suppose this is mass m moving from here to here in gravity, and the vertical separation between these two positions is what? H. So if we go along this path to reach this point, if we take this mass along this path to this point, or we take the mass along this path, in all the 3 cases work done would be mgh. So this work done doesn't depend upon path, it simply depends upon initial and final points. Well, if we move from here in gravity, say we move up and we follow this path and come back to the same point. Since we come back to the same point, well, h is 0, therefore work done around the trip is 0. Like the same properties hold true for all other examples. Non-conservative forces. Well, children, non-conservative forces are force of friction. You have already studied this force in detail. So force of friction is force of opposition between 2 rigid surfaces. The other non-conservative forces are viscous drag. Viscous drag is the force of opposition between moving layers of fluid. When liquid flows, various layers of the fluid oppose the motion of each other. We call this force as viscous drag. We will study this force in detail. This viscous drag is a non-conservative force. Well, the third non-conservative force is force of opposition due to medium. Force of opposition due to medium. So when you move through a medium opposes your motion. Force of opposition due to air. When you are still, when you are not moving in still air, you do not feel air. As you start walking, you start feeling air. And if you sit over a motorcycle, you feel lot of air. And if you sit at the top of a fast moving vehicle, you will fly backward. So who throws you backward? Well, it is the force of opposition due to medium. This is another example of non-conservative force. Well, suppose this is a mass. This is a mass, it is moving from 1 to 2. If it is moving from 1 to 2 over a horizontal surface, horizontal rough surface, what is work done by force of friction? Force of friction is a non-conservative force. Well, force of friction would be, if the object is moving towards right, then the force of friction would be where? Towards left. So force of friction is going to be towards left, and the displacement is going to be where? Towards right. So force and displacements are anti-parallel. That means angle between them is 180 degrees. So what is work done? Work done is Fs cos of theta. Theta is 180. So what is work done? Work done is minus Fs. Now if the same mass moves back from here to here, now when the mass starts moving back to point number 1, well, the force of friction now is going to be towards right. The displacement is where? Towards left. So again, displacement and force, they are anti-parallel vector. Work done would again be minus Fs. So what is total work done? If the mass moves from here and come back to the same point, work done is going to be sum total of these two, and this sum total of these two is going to be what? Minus Fs plus minus Fs is what? Minus 2Fs. Is it 0? No. It is not 0. So work done around a trip by non-conservative force is not 0. So children, with this we come to the end of today's class. Thank you very much and God bless you all.